Good morning, dear hearts. We are on our first review. Congratulations. So we have an introduction. There's many introductions. There's always an introduction as we begin a new review section. This is our first review. We are reviewing our first 50 lessons, and then we will go on to new ones. So in a way, we're going backwards before we go forward. The first 50 lessons, the introduction tells us how we are to practice them very briefly, and please go back and read it for more details, that we look at them in the morning. There's 5 of them. Each lesson contains 5 of our first 50. Go over them. If one calls out to you, practice that one a little bit more, but spend at least 2 minutes during the course of your day on each one, okay? We practice with our eyes closed because we want to be and feel like we are in a quiet, a still place. But what we really need to understand is that we have to realize that we don't need a special place in order to do this course or to do our practicing. This is meant to go with us. Remember, the workbook is practical. If I'm only practicing and doing the lessons and learning what each lesson is when I'm at home, then I'm not really fulfilling the requirement for me to have a new thought system. I need to take this wisdom with me wherever I go. In the introduction, it says that, for you to learn, you require no special settings in which to apply what you have learned. The purpose of your learning is to enable you to bring the quiet with you and to heal distress and turmoil. This is not done by avoiding them, by avoiding this distress and the turmoil and seeking a haven of isolation for yourself. The shift in our thought system is not done if I go to a top of a mountain, if I go to a cabin, if I close the doors to my bedroom and I don't let anyone in. I, at some point, will have to leave any of those locations, and I need to be able to have the peace reside within me. Because, as I've said many times, and I will again, this really is an inside job. Peace is an internal matter. And the other thing is that if I go off to a deserted island or a cabin atop of a mountain someplace, I'm still bringing my mind with me. And my mind is where the distress and the turmoil is residing. So I must learn how to quiet my mind if I want to have a different outcome, a different outlook in this world. If I want to see this world differently, then it's going to start from within me. The lesson, the introduction says, you will yet learn that peace is part of you and requires only that you be there to embrace any situation in which you are. And finally, you will learn that there is no limit to where you are, so that your peace is everywhere as you are. Remember that God goes with me wherever I go, and there's great peace. There is only peace within God, which is God's mind, which we reside within God's mind. Now, towards the very end of the introduction of the review, it says we're now emphasizing the relationship among the first 50 ideas that we've covered and the cohesiveness of this thought system to which they are leading you. So with that in mind, as we go into lesson 51, I'm going to use, and I did this last year as well, if you want to go back and watch that video, I'm going to use one word to link each of these lessons together. Now, the first thing, though, you might notice with each of the lessons, there is a little bit of text underneath it. It's not exactly what we had when we first had the lesson. But the other thing about it, it's all written in first person, which it hasn't been before. The 5 lessons we are reviewing. Nothing I see means anything. I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. These thoughts do not mean anything. And everyone's favorite, I'm never upset for the reason I think. What links all of these together? Judgment. Judgment is the reason that nothing I see really means anything, because I have looked at it and I have judged it wrongly. I cannot help but judge. The workbook tells us that if we don't bless, we are judging. Okay, and that's what we're doing. If everything I see, I'm going to have assigned that meaning for it. And that meaning comes from judgment. I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. And it actually starts, the text portion says, I have judged everything I look upon, and it is this and only this that I see. It's not vision. My judgments have hurt me, and I do not want to see according to them. Because I have judged everything, I have judged it without having a valid thought system. They've been judged from the ego mind, which has no true foundation. It's all illusion. The third lesson we're reviewing, I do not understand anything I see. And how could I? Because I have judged it from a narrow point of view, a narrow mind, a narrow thought system. The first line in the review says, how could I understand what I see when I have judged it amiss? The fourth lesson for today, these thoughts do not mean anything. We've already learned, and we had that wonderful line, the thoughts I think, that I only have real thoughts if I am thinking with God. If I'm not thinking with God, I am judging. I am judging everything. It's only when I think with God that I can be in a state where I don't judge, because I'm not overcome with illusions. Now, because I have judged with my ego thought system, I now must justify what it is that I have done. The last line of this review says, my thoughts are meaningless, but all creation lies in the thoughts I think with God. So I'm not thinking truly because I'm not thinking with God. The fifth lesson for review is, I am never upset for the reason I think. I am never upset for the reason I think because I am constantly trying to justify my thoughts, justify my judgments. I have done this to defend a thought system that has hurt me, and I no longer want. I am willing to let it go. I feel guilty because of my judgments. And now I'm going to have to defend those judgments, defend that thought system, justify it. But I'm never upset for the reason I think, because all of my upset is coming from an unfounded thought system, one that has no true foundation. So I hope that made sense, because that thought system is based on fear. It is all false evidence appearing real. So how could I really even know why I'm upset? Because it's all illusions. I hope that made sense. And thank you, all of the comments that when you tell me that, yes, this is making sense, but I will continue to ask. I don't think I asked to please subscribe, but please do. That's an orchid that has now bloomed for the third time. If you have noticed, Patty, hi. And thank you for noticing, for me to have an orchid that has rebloomed 3 times. That's miraculous. Smile that where we are today, taking a deep breath, release that old thought system. Know we are moving forward so beautifully together, and that again, the destination is assured. It's a guarantee. So thank you. And I do answer all the comments. I don't know if everyone does, but I will answer. It might take a day or two, but I will answer your comments and read the comments. Some of them are spectacular. Others, not. Anyway, so please be here tomorrow. Namaste.